up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe don't dare. G.I. Joe.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about this Super 7 Cobra mothership. It carries a mother of a price, and it actually is going on till December 11th. So we've got 2 months to decide whether we're buying this or not. $495, and it needs 4,000 backers, and then we've got some tiers, early bird unlocks, and all that kind of stuff. But today I want to talk to you about the ship and the offering and what's there. But then I'm going to tell you my view on this. Am I going to buy this? What are my thoughts? And how do I feel seeing as how I bought the Thunder Tank from them, how I backed the Cat's Lair, and then there's this. We're going to talk about this and more coming up. Alright, what all are we going to get with this set? Well, you're going to get this ginormous mothership that was seen in the intro of G.I. Joe. And you're also going to get all this other stuff down here. But starting at the top, the mothership itself is going to be 32 to 33 inches wide and about 30 inches long. It's sort of a big giant oval. It's big. We're going to look at more pictures here in just a bit of that. But I went and measured, and they said it's bigger than a Terradrome. They're right and wrong. We'll talk about that when we get to the next picture. We also get these decals. You can put all over it however you want. Make it look pretty cool with the decal sheet, or just leave it plain and bare if you want. It's got the Trouble Bubble missiles ×2. So whether or not it unlocks the Trouble Bubble, you still get the missiles. It's got 3 stands to help it stand. I think those light up underneath it. It's supposed to have some light up features. And then 8 explosives, and we're going to see the bay where those go. And then we have the Gunner O-Ring figure and a Gunner reaction figure. And we're going to talk about these O-Ring figures and the future possibilities that could bring. Now we're going to get into looking at this. The top comes off, and we're going to see a little bit more of the panels also in a bit that come off of it. But this angle still doesn't really show you how wide it is. And I have to say, this thing is deceptively large, because we've been looking at this since SDCC, so it's been months that we've had this in our face, but those models didn't open up. They weren't fully functional. Everything about them, they weren't ready to go. This is a picture of what we're actually going to get for the most part. Well, you know, as close as Super 7 is going to show us. But I do think it looks really nice on the inside. It's very roomy and spacious, and there's a lot going on in there. And I think it's Articulated Chad, now it's like Just Chad or It's Chad, pointed out that the gel cell door looks like the Terradrome gel cell door. And that is kind of cool, to kind of make it feel like a vintage Hasbro item, even though we've never gotten this before by anybody other than maybe a customizer. Look at all the chairs and all the cool stuff that's going on in there. Zooming in on this, we can see the control deck area, and a few things to point out. First of all, I do love how we have the Cobra room, we have the Cobra in red outlining it, we have sliding doors that go into the wall like you'd see in the show. So little detail touches. Say what you want to say about Super 7, but the engineers and the designers, the people that are making this stuff, really seem to care about the accuracy and what's going into this. So that is a good thing. It looks fantastic. Those kinds of touches are really amazing. And then you've got all the foot pegs. So looking around here and seeing all these foot pegs that we've got, so you could stick your figures on there, and I believe it would be dual compatibility with Reaction and Vintage Joe's. Then got to remember, don't break your heel sticking a Vintage Joe on here, so be careful. Most of my Vintage Joes I got real cheap anyway, so if I break a heel, it's not going to be too big of a deal. But this is going to be fully compatible with Vintage Joes. And looking at those chairs, another thing I want to point out, people ask, well, how are you going to put them in chairs if they don't have knees? Well, just put the legs straight, stick them in there, and the way that the whole console covers it, it's not even going to be noticeable if you stick Reaction figures in there. In a lot of cases, your vintage figures you picked up a while back are way cheaper than buying new Reaction figures for this too. Here is the bomb bay area where it showed that we are going to get these bombs. This is where they're going to go, and it looks really cool. And I admit I should probably have watched the video real close and seen. I'm pretty sure these can come out of there somehow, like drop out of there. It looks like in the very rear one there's a hole for it to fall down, so that would be kind of cool. And for me personally, and I think most people, they will probably just be setting this down flat on the surface because it's so big. but some people might actually have that elevation and have those other pieces on there to elevate it a little bit. And we'll talk about the height of that here in just a bit too. But it's kind of cool stuff we got going on here. Then we have all these panels that come off, so you can take one panel off and only expose one panel. So you can just have the front section, the rest of it look cool, and then have just that front control section and fill that out with figures. Or you can take it all off and just have the whole thing look like a base, or you can just have the side of it off. So the fact they gave you these options, number one, you're not going to have one giant piece hanging out somewhere. Number two, you have display options, displayability options. And this is all kind of stuff that we sort of assumed. This is sort of par for the course on something like this. It's kind of a cutaway Falcon kind of idea. But yeah, somebody also compared this size-wise to like the Ghost. So size and price to Hasbro's Ghost, but yet this is something that is really, really unique. Now we're really quick getting into this early bird. If you order in the next 9 days, then you get these. And let's just be clear, you're ordering it and you're paying for it up front in the next 9 days. You won't see it for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's Super 7, 2 years. Maybe. Who knows exactly when you're going to get it. So the Cobra Mothership exclusive early bird is these parachutes. These parachutes, there's a little place in there for you to even tuck them and store them. It's already set up in there. If you just don't get the early bird, you just don't get the parachutes. And I'm not sure if people would be motivated to sell these separately when they got them. Like, hey, this is going to help offset the price of the vehicle. It's a possibility. But they're functional, soft vinyl parachutes. And they look like you'd expect from something like this. Now, we also have the first Tier 1 unlock, which is going to give you these extra gunner stations. So to me, I'm kind of like, why is this an extra unlock? But it's a Tier 1 unlock. Now, getting into these tiers, how much do we need? We unlock this whole thing with 5,000. The Tier 1 is... the unlock it with 4,000, Tier 1 is 5,000. Okay, I'm looking at the Tier 1, 5,000. So you unlock the ship. So if they sell 3,950, they're not going to make it. So then we have to hit 4,000 for them to make it. Then we're going to need 5,000 to get these turrets. Which, for me personally, I don't really care so much about the turrets. But I really care about Tier 2 unlock at 6,000 backers. This is 2 Trouble Bubbles. And this vehicles with flip-up canopies, cannons, each one with 1 mine missile and 2 side missile accessories. And this, I love Trouble Bubbles. I've got 3 now. 3 of the classified ones. I have 8 vintage ones. I'm sure there's people out there with 20 of them. I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just saying I like them that much that I don't go super deep into Joe, and I have that many Trouble Bubbles. I think it's really cool. Now, I also want to say about this is also, they call these exclusive variants, meaning that I'm guessing down the road there's going to be Trouble Bubbles for sale from Super 7 separately. I believe that, but they didn't say that. But saying Super 7 exclusive variants makes me wonder, are they going to make the Trouble Bubbles separate, or are they saying it's a variant from what Hasbro's made in the past? So I don't really know why they would use that terminology unless there's some more to come. Now, 7,000, you unlock variant Cobra Officer. See, here they're using it again. Super 7 exclusive variant Cobra Officer and Cobra Viper Gunner Officer. The way they say Cobra Viper Officer, Cobra Viper Gunner Officer exclusive variants, but there's a variant of the figure they're already making. Which, again, goes right back to me thinking that they're going to be making Trouble Bubbles separately, as a whole separate purchase. But these guys are also a whole separate purchase. I mean, you're going to get 2 figures with it. If the Tier 3 unlocks, you get these 2 figures, but then you can also buy 5. So also available separately, but only if the ship funds. You can get 5 of these articulated Vipers. These are the O-ring style Vipers, but they're cartoon inspired, more cartoon accurate theoretically than what we've got in the past from Hasbro, but in O-ring style. And it's funny too, because if you start thinking about it, this timeline fits to where they started saying from Hasbro they're going to pause O-rings. Now we're seeing O-rings coming from Super 7, and what does the future hold for this? But there's 5 for $75, it's about $15 each. much better price than what Hasbro was trying to charge us. So Hasbro, the giant multinational conglomerate, was trying to charge $22 a piece for theirs. But here we are with Super 7 charging $15 each. And a lot of people bash the price, but I think it's a decent price for 5. I'd be in on a set of these if, of course, the whole thing backs and they actually make them. Plus, they're also available. I didn't grab the picture of the reaction ones, but they're available in reaction also for $75. Now, this thing's going to stand 7.5 inches tall without the lifter thruster pieces on it, but with those on, it's 11 inches tall. So not really super tall, but really wide. So versus the Terradrome, my Terradrome's 2 foot wide. Terradrome on average is around 2 foot wide, and this is 33 inches wide, so it's like 8 inches wider and all the way around. But the Terradrome is, I didn't measure the height. Is it 16, 18 inches tall, something along those lines? 12, 15, 16. But definitely taller than this. So they're sitting there saying it's bigger than the Terradrome. No, it's not really, but it's wider. So that's true. Now, as it stands, as I'm filming this, only 229 backers backed it. There is a chance this doesn't hit the 4,000. There's a whole lot of reasons for that, and I'm going to get into talking about my beliefs on this. But of course, this isn't 2020 or 2021. We don't have free money raining down from the sky, and we have the economy really bad. And now with all of the energy policies that are out there, you're going to have $600 electric bills and gas bills and all that. And so people have less money. And then if you step back and you go, well, this is my electric bill for July, and then this is, or my gas bill for February, something along those lines, then that starts eating into it. You start thinking, is it really worth it? Now, this is a true crowdfund, but the Thunder Tank was not. And I did back the Cat Slayer, and when I get that, we'll talk about that. But I'm still pretty excited about that thing. And I still love this Thunder Tank. I think they did a fantastic job, and I don't regret buying mine. But I do feel a little bit shafted because it was presented as a timed order. You have to order up to this date, and you can't take orders anymore. But I didn't realize that BBTS was going to, and other places were going to order 5,000 of them. So I don't know if the same thing's going to happen with this, but I haven't seen it happen with the Cat Slayer yet. So this thing might follow the Cat Slayer more than the Thunder Tank. And the reason I even bring the Thunder Tank up, because it's not even the same franchise, but it's the same company, and it's the same thought process in a way, is because of the fact that this thing went on a one-day sale at BBTS for $399, $100 less than I paid for mine. And I feel a little shafted, to tell you the truth, price-wise. Not size and quality. You know, I'm happy with my Thunder Tank. I just wish I could have gotten it cheaper. I wish I would have known there was a chance to get it on sale, but I didn't know that. I thought, back it then, or you don't get it. And that's what they're saying with this. That's what they said with the Cat Slayer, but we don't know until it starts showing up if BBTS and them ordered some and just didn't tell anyone, and then they show up on their sites. Now, with all of that history, am I going to get this? Am I going to get it? And the thing is, I'm going to sit on the fence with Mega J Retro. He's probably on the fence right now, because that's how he says he is with these crowdfunds. I'm not jumping in and getting the tier of the early bird. I'm not going to be getting the parachutes. I'm not going to be getting that. I'm probably going to wait till December 11th, the very last day. Not midnight, though. Just sometime that last day. And I probably will do the 4 payments deal to sort of splits it up into 2 months. So the payments, interest-free payments that you can do, splits it up into 2 months, so it's a little bit less of a bite out of you. But I absolutely do not like buying stuff from Super 7 and waiting a year and a half, 2 years. I also don't like the fact that I couldn't get a clear Jaga from BBTS. I had to order it through them. And the Chitara, the glow-in-the-dark Chitara, I'm still waiting on those. And it feels like a year. It probably hasn't been a whole year, but it feels like a year since I ordered the Jaga. And that mold already exists, and it just blows my mind. I have to wait so long for this stuff, and I don't like that. Now, I understand I did start with crowdfunding with the first HasLab, and then this fits the bill for a HasLab or a crowdfund project. It's huge. Not everybody's going to want it, and yes, it is going to be expensive. I thought it'd be $300. I did. I really thought it'd be $300. Price is pretty high on this thing. I was kind of hoping for under $300. Maybe when I first said $170, I didn't know the size. I really thought it was literally half the size of this. So doubling my $170, so that's $340. So in my mind, $340 is what it should be. But $500 is a tall order for this. But it does have lights and electronics and some other stuff. So at the end of the day, I probably will back one. But I'm a guy that I usually back 3 of what I like and really like, and it feels weird now just doing one and hoping maybe down the road I pick up one of the extra tier bonuses if I want extra ones of those or something along those lines. I usually back multiple so I can have extra tiers and stuff. But we might not see any tiers. There's a lot to consider with this. And I'll probably make an update video with even more information in the future. But we might not even get the tier 1 with the gunner stations. And that would really suck. But anyway, you're backing it for the item itself and nothing else. And is it worth 500? I don't feel like it's quite there. But will I regret it if I don't? Probably. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you in on this? Are you out on this? Did you like my thoughts? Did you care? Like, subscribe to Darum Hanger out.
It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.